welcome and welcome back to the Light Renegades. My name is Starr. Thank you everyone for joining me. Video 2 of today. And you know, I really appreciate everyone stepping forward and just allowing for themselves to be ever immersed in these energies and this experience of the ascension process, everyone. And granted, we all know it's going to be a long process, but we are making leaps and strides every day. And you showing up, you allowing for yourself to be experiencing a different aspect of consciousness, stepping forward, is a really beautiful way to help humanity at this time. So thank you for showing up. Thank you for witnessing my expanse within this, the Light Renegades expanse within this, and also for allowing teams of light to connect with your energy also. You're going to have to bear with me. The hair is wet. She is still ill. Purging energy, and I'm not entirely sure how to bring this forward because I know that it is going to sound quite, I guess... It's just a new space that we find ourselves in, everyone. So yesterday I was guided to be in a council meeting, and I wasn't expecting this. I was feeling some energy. I've been up until like 5 a.m. the past few nights feeling like my energy is connected to something else that I've not been made aware of. And yesterday Teams of Light said, you know, please sit, there's something that we want to bring forward to your table. And I sat, I closed my eyes, and it was like it was almost like it's like I was in court. There's the only way to describe it. It was like I was in a courtroom, and then these double doors opened, these big wooden double doors opened, and then I just saw a sea of beings. There were thousands of these beings, and they all looked very incredibly different. And it was like there were some that were directly in front of me, and they seemed to be, you know, the leaders of this understanding, and there were those behind them. But these were energies and entities that looked of a darker essence, everyone. You know, there was things that looked demonic, there were things that were vampiric in nature, there were things that looked like I guess like zombies or spirits that, you know, just didn't look they didn't look full of glitter and sparkle is what I want to share. But I could sense that these beings had such heart. There were some that were angry. There were some that felt very disgruntled and pushed out. And that was what the meeting was about. I started to speak a language that I don't even know what it is. And I was just speaking to these beings in this language, and they were responding to me. And what they were saying was that they want to be a part of where we find ourselves now. And what I was brought forward with this understanding is that I was standing in front of a legion of darkness. And what I've come to understand through Teams of Light, through the Angelic Council, through the GA, through Luciferian understanding, through Lucifer stepping forward, Archangel Metatron as well, within this, they've all stepped forward and said, these are beings that, you know, have been conjured up in spaces due to the negative reptilian influence, and those that are seeding darkness somewhere that has been coerced by their energy. So these beings are now stepping forward, understanding that they've been conjured up by these beings that are causing havoc down here on earth and creating this imbalance between the light and the dark aspects. So imagine the negative reptilian force being its own stronghold of darkness somewhere, and then we have this understanding of pure darkness that is connected to our divine pure light. It is divine pure darkness, and these beings are stepping forward and saying, look, we are not part of what they've created, though they may have created some of us somewhere, and we are being pushed out by beings of light at this time, but we want to have a seat at your table with you to coexist in this new understanding that they're being brought forward together. Because what we have to understand is that souls are here, and we have to work through our shadow and our karmic aspects. So us completely shunning all darkness and seeing it as bad, you know, we are creating an ever-increasing imbalance in some timelines that need to coexist at this time. And Lucifer is very much stepping forward as an angel in darkness and saying, I step forward to play a role for humanity, those that want to experience through the darkness. So what I'm starting to understand is that true darkness has to exist alongside light, because we are 50-50 in both of that understanding, everyone. And I know it seems like a very strange concept to get one's head around, especially if you've been connected to strict doctrine and religion at some point, because it is not what we have been told is the truth. You know, we were told to be fearing the darkness, fearing demons, all of those types of things, and that just isn't the case anymore. Our light is so strong, and we can we can step forward and engage with anything without it taking over our own physical vessel. We are in control of our physical vessel, of our body. Granted, some energetic entities can enter your vessel, and you might need help to remove those depending where you are in your path, but nothing can truly hurt and harm you. We are out of those realms of understanding. We've been closing down those strict timelines connected to this negative reptilian order, and we are ever stepping towards the light, but the darkness is still going to exist, everyone. And I think that is a space that we've been in massive denial of, is that we have to have shadow, we have to have light at the exact same time. And I was taken to a space quite early on in my journey where, this was a higher dimensional understanding. We're talking like 12D going into 15D. And I know some people don't believe that those spaces exist, but that was how it was brought to my consciousness and understanding at that time. And it was like the energy and the vibrations was so high, but shadow and darkness still existed, but it was almost like a mist. That really fine rain that comes in as a mist? It was like that was how the shadow exists there. It wasn't manifesting in beings' energy, but it had to exist, and it was still there. Even in these very, very, very high vibrational spaces, the darkness still has to exist. And we are coming into a time where, there are beings that are learning through the darkness. And I've been delving into aspects of, I guess, other people's perspective connected to Luciferian energy and darker energies and how to wield its power. And I'm going to share a couple of channels that I found very interesting. Granted, I might not necessarily believe in everything that they are sharing, but I think that they are in a space of darkness, but coming from pure light and helping others to really access their own true innate power and connecting this to divine feminine energy and giving us back our wealth as a race of being a divine feminine here and giving us our true power back within that space. And it's been incredibly heart-opening to me to know that these spaces are existent, and specifically in the darkness. And I dare say, in at least what I'm understanding and what I'm hearing, I feel like the darkness and those people stepping forward almost have a more fine-tuned balance and understanding of this divine feminine energy than those that are standing directly in the light. I feel like there is a difference between Luciferian energy and some aspects of light and spirituality that is just incredibly different. And this idea of, bowing down to only yourself, I think is where the Luciferian energy is kind of ruling for me at this time over the space of bowing down to anything of light. And, I have a very different understanding and perspective when I connect with teams of light. And, on my path, I've completely come to my knees, standing in front of Metatron, in front of Jesus, all of these higher dimensional beings, the Buddha, etc. I've been brought to tears, feeling the energy, their vibration, bowing down to them. But at the same time, I've never given my energy and my power over to them, over something that I know that like something that doesn't exist within myself. I very much see myself as equal, and there is no ego connected to that, everyone. It's because I just understand that this vibration lives within all of us, and I think we really have to start honing in that understanding. Of course, respect your teams of light, but I'm very I do chat back to my teams of light. I very much have an opinion, and they love that about me, and they say that about me. And sometimes, I think, am I just, pushing the boundaries to be devil's advocate sometimes? Excuse the pun there, everyone. But, they say, no, like, we love you because you have this fight and this fire, and, you are part of this. We are giving you the experience that you asked us to give you. So they're saying, when we step forward for you. And I very much feel that understanding, and I don't bow down to anyone. I bow down to myself alone, and that's why we should all be. Yes, I respect my teams of light, but I'm also starting to respect the darkness just as much, and the darkness very much does feel like home for me. And I have to admit that I know this darkness so well. Somewhere I think I've been terrified to admit it to you all. And also, to those that are around me, I know that, I have family members that are very, very strict in their understandings of Christianity, and they haven't been best pleased with everything that I'm doing and experiencing, but they cannot deny the light that I bring forward, and how much I'm just here to help others. So there's been a balancing of this happening, and I've really been having to accept myself in my spaces of light but also my darkness as well. So wherever you find yourself in your journey right now, I think just take a few steps back and allow for everything to unfold to you. I know that I'm stepping forward with some quite extreme understandings right now, and we are at the forefront of bringing this information forward. I'm not the only channel that's going to be bringing this information forward. Anna Maria is also working behind the scenes, my fellow Pleiadian Star sister, on a lot of work within this, and we are in this together, and there are other teams of light that are also stepping forward to help bring this understanding to light. There will be more to come from more teams of light connected to this, but I'm actually going to bring through who am I going to bring forward today? Okay, I'm going to bring forward the GA and the Angelic Council at the exact same time as a consciousness to give you all a message connected to this. And I haven't had a specific channeling with them since my connection to the Legion of Darkness yesterday. I've had some beings step forward and speak to me personally about some incidences regarding all of that and what that meant for me in my personal journey, but I haven't had, a concrete understanding of what that means for all of you and what this means moving forward. So this is going to be a channeling very much, for me in real time with all of you as well. So give me a moment and I'm going to bring forward the GA, which is our fractal of the Galactic Federation of Light, and the Angelic Council, which is headed by Archangel Michael at this time, everyone. So please give me a moment. Thank you, dear soul, for allowing us to step forward and speak through you. We know that today's message, today's channelings have been a lot for some to hear and process. Please know that we have stepped into a time where you are all ready to seed your darkness as well as your light. This has to be your truth, and this has to be your knowing stepping forward, that you are equal measures light and dark at the exact same time. So much of these spiritual practices and understanding have been stepping towards the light and the light alone, given this idea of love, fun, prosperity above all else, and this to be true. But also you must work through your shadow. The more that you step towards the light, the more that you will be faced with your shadow, with your darkness, with your pure divine darkness. We would like to state in the here and now that divine darkness does exist. Lucifer is connected to this understanding. He had to exist in fractals of understanding so that those that needed to express themselves through shadow, through darkness, through that aspect of soul expansion, he had to be here to safeguard that process for so many. His understandings have been taken forward by the negative reptilian order in some timelines, and those are timelines that we are taking a look at this time. This Legion of Darkness that this dear soul spoke to yesterday, they are angry, they are upset, they want to be part of your world. They are sick of being felt as terrifying or fearful, and so many of you have pushed aside your own self, witnessing your own self in a darker aspect and not understanding that it is you, a construct of your own consciousness, stepping forward for you to accept. So if you have been seeing beings of darkness, know that it may be you that you are pushing away. Know that it may be an aspect of your lineage, your ancestry, understanding that you need to be accepting at this time. You will know when something steps forward, not in heart, not in light. There are beings of darkness that live in heart and in light. These are beings stepping forward because they still want to exist in your world. They don't want to be pushed aside. They want to help in this process of understanding and balancing out those spaces of karma for those that are wanting to work through darker aspects and understandings and bringing them towards them in the light. There is generations to come that have been very much connected to these darker frames of understanding, and it is too much for them to be seated in the light right away. So there are souls stepping forward that are wielding this understanding, this darkness, this soul sat before you being one of them, and helping those beings step ever closer towards the light, one step at a time. Because it feels too much for them, they do not feel worthy, and this is something that they need to work on within self, within soul's expansion, that they are worthy to be sat in the light. This is part of their soul's expression. This is part of their soul's expanse that they asked for. Some of them, they didn't ask for this. Some of them, this is, their higher self stepping forward with this understanding. So please try not to judge anyone that you see, perhaps working in their shadow, perhaps working in their darkness, and understanding that you have too been that somewhere. Perhaps not this lifetime, but in a previous lifetime. We see so many of you denying what you might have been in other lifetimes. There is no room for this anymore. The negative reptilian forces will be pushing an agenda of fear, of sinking into your deepest concepts of understanding and consciousness, and pushing that forward to trigger you. There will be beings that step forward to trigger you in the spaces you are in right now, and we are allowing for this to happen so that you can grow. And this is very much an understanding that comes from these darker forces. Demonic energies do step forward and allow for that to be a playground that some work within to understand their own shadow and their own concepts of darkness, and then stepping forward into the light. Granted, some of them haven't stepped forward into the light thus far, but this is where we come in and we help those that have been trapped in the darkness, feeling like all that they know and all that they deserve is pure darkness, because there has been an unbalancing with regards to religion and strict doctrine and the lies that have been told to you. as so many of you are starting to understand the Bible. Some aspects of that understanding are complete truth, have been written in divine white light. They've been written in Christ consciousness. They've been written by higher dimensional beings, giving you information to help you in the here and now. But so much of that has been perversed, coerced, and used to control, especially the divine feminine and where they find themselves right now, and understanding that there isn't only one way to live a life. There isn't only one way for a soul to express itself. It is not just in the light that a soul can be in true light and expressing itself. A soul can be in pure darkness of light and still expressing itself. The pendulum must swing, as this dear one keeps telling you. We know that there will be many questions. We will allow for question time soon. But we want you all to be incredibly honest with yourselves and where you find yourselves right now. And we are going to let a being step forward that some may be fearful of, but this is here to show you and to prove to you that we are all working together. So we are going to allow for Lucifer's energy to step forward through this vessel right now and speak to you and give you some of his understanding. Please bear with the soul as she allows him through. Thank you, light beings. I know my energy here not welcomed by some, and I understand. Yet I wish to share that I'm here to help. I'm here to help so many of you understand yourselves at a deeper capacity. Each of you here, you know me. You understand my energy. I've been a helping hand to you in so many lifetimes that you are choosing to ignore. This has been part of your path, part of your soul's expanse, but you are ready to step forward and understand your shadow as well as your light. You must integrate both in order to be a well-rounded soul, in order to be a soul that is ascending into divine white light. So many of you fear the darkness, fear the shadow, fear myself, yet I'm here in just absolute truth of all that exists. I know my energy feels seductive. I know my energy feels like something you shouldn't sink into. And I would say that that will not change. I will always feel like a temptation to some, because you are denying who you are in truth. It's not until you accept your shadow, accept your darkness, that I start to feel like a loving energy towards you. This dear soul melded with my energy from a very young age, and she understood whom I was to her. She has seen me as a father figure, as a protector at so much of her life, and I had to be there to protect her. She was harboring a lot of this negative reptilian force, whilst also trying to not be taken in by its energies, consumed wholly by the master's eye. She was very much teetering on the edge for many, many years of being consumed by the negative reptilian forces, and this was part of the plan. She agreed to work through some of this energy for the whole of humanity. She has been suffering greatly, and I had to hold her hands in times of such darkness. This is something she's only just starting to understand. At some point, she blamed me for everything that she was experiencing, and granted, that did come through because she accepted in my energy, and this negative reptilian force has taken over some of my understandings and masked itself as such, as that. The mass media, this satanic culture, is not connected to my original essence. It is connected to the negative reptilian order, and an understanding that will be stepping forward at a later date. Pure darkness does exist, but right now we are talking about the darkness connected to the negative reptilian order, and a pure darkness that is in tandem with divine light that you hold within self. I hope that you can feel my energy, you can embrace my energy, though it may feel taboo to you. I'm here to express to you that I am of light. I am of darkness, but I am of absolute truth. I will not lie to you. I will never lie to you. I'm not allowed to lie to you in this space. And that is something that you will see time and time again. Those that work with beings of darkness, you have to announce whom you are. You have to say who you are, especially to those that are of light, stepping forward and asking who you are. So if you ever have fear of what an entity is, ask it who it is. Say, why are you here? Why are you showing yourself to me? And they have to answer you in truth because of the light and the vibration that you are sat in up until this point. The energies are ever increasing towards the light, and I'm walking alongside you in this. I am fighting this good fight with you all. Please understand that. I'm here to love and protect you. I'm here to help you through your shadow, through your darkest aspects, and see that as part of your soul's expanse and part of your truth. we are all coexisting together. This is going to take some time, some understanding, and to some this may be quite challenging, and this may feel like you don't have a stronghold in the light anymore, but you most certainly do. And I'm here to share that with you. I'm here to share my understanding so that you can all set yourselves free. I feel like there was so much that I wish to share, but I think that best all be today from myself. I will allow this dear soul to speak to you now and share all that she has been understanding through me, and allow for you to seed your truth and your light from that aspect of self. I'm very much here to hold your hand whenever you need me. Those that have been really struggling in the darkness, call upon me. I am a safety net for you. I am a safety. I'm a comfort blanket to you. This dear soul said that I felt like a comforting essence to her, and I was grateful to hear that. And so many of you, I wish to feel that same energy of myself as well. But that all from me today, dear souls. I'm working ever closer with the teams of light, of all of your understandings of light, all angelic frequencies, all galactic frequencies. We are all coming together to fight this force that no longer needs its place here on planet Earth. I'm excited to be working with some of you at a deeper capacity, and you will know in time and in heart when that is time for you. So many of you have been asked to be introduced to me at this specific moment in time, something this dear soul hasn't quite fully comprehended yet, is just how closely she will be working with me and helping others understand their shadow and their darkness. She is still accepting herself somewhere, and I understand this. I understand exactly where she is coming from. She has been pushed out in many spaces for whom she truly is, and how much she does wield the darkness and light in equal measure. Some people very much fear her and her energy, and it's difficult when you feel like you are feared. This is something that I've experienced time and time again. And this legion of darkness, they want to not feel feared by you also. They want to be accepted as part of the whole of totality that is. They want to be seen as useful. They want to be seen as helpful here, helping those work through those karmic aspects that they have asked for. We cannot deny the darkness any longer because it still needs to exist. This is something that hasn't been pushed in the spaces of light because everyone is very much not accepting shadow in full capacity right now. And we are all ready to step forward together. Please hold this in heart and in mind. I feel like I could keep speaking at you, with you, for forever. And I know that it's not time, so I'm having to bite my tongue, so to speak. But that's all from me today. I will let this dear soul share what she's been feeling. And apologies everyone, I got a massive cramp in my foot as Lucifer was speaking. And you know, so many things happen when I'm going to step forward and be sharing such important messages. I think I might start sharing everything that happens behind the scenes because, you know, teams don't want me to be sharing this information. Some beings out there really do not want me to be sharing this truth because I know that it's not been spoken about perhaps to this capacity before. And you know, I'm not the only space sharing this. There will be others stepping forward within this understanding as well, which I'm incredibly grateful for. But I know that stepping forward, we are ever going to be working with darker aspects of understanding of pure darkness and this Luciferian energy that is helping us wield our power somewhere else, and helping us come into fine balance, everyone. So if you are divine feminine here and you've been struggling with your power, it is time to sink into the depth of your darkness and understand it, because that's where your true power comes from. I'm understanding that this divine feminine energy comes from this dark womb space that we've been told is scary, that we've been told, you know, isn't a safe space to be. You know, the ages that have come before us, they completely feared that space, and that has been indoctrinated into us, into our societal constraints, and we are breaking free from that. So please do take time to assess where you find yourself in the journey. And divine masculine energy, you know, you are ready. You're ready to embrace your true darkness too, and for that to be something that is brought forward in your divine feminine energy into balance. The balancing of our own divine feminine and divine masculine energies have been so out of alignment for such a long time. The divine feminines have been striving, working so hard in the divine masculine energy and not being allowed to sink into the space to receive. And the divine masculines have just been completely, trained to bulldoze over this divine feminine energy. Not all spaces are doing this, granted that, but on a mass scale, that is what has been happening. And we're trying to find a fine balancing with each other. And, I very much had to work on my connections to the divine masculine. And I realized that Lucifer was this energy that stepped forward as a father figure for me. I didn't have a strong fatherly presence in my life. And I think somewhere I just didn't believe that God was one singular man. So when I went to, Catholic schooling, I felt very confused. And the spaces that I found myself in, confused about my sexuality somewhere, wanting to partake in things that, weren't seen as the highest vibration back then, just being a teenager, nothing crazy. But I very much then slipped into asking for Lucifer's help. I was in pain. I didn't feel accepted somewhere. I felt rejected, and I was rejecting myself. And this is very much the understanding that Aleister Crowley is being brought forward in his teachings too. I see a lot of myself in him, in his understanding of how he lived his life. He was in fear. He was in fear of love. He was in fear of true connection. He was in fear of his own sexuality, of his own, I guess, taboo aspects, his own shadow. And the more that we fear it, the more that this energy just exasperates. And this is very much connected to demonology. And, demons step in and help people to express themselves at a deeper capacity through, really extreme understandings at times. And this has to be something that we are accepting as a space that some souls choose to be in. There are souls that step forward and ask to be brought to the light through the darkness. I myself being one of those beings. And, I'm ever understanding my position here, but I know that it is through the darker realms that I bring forward a lot of my knowledge. And that's where I've gained a lot of my wealth and my strength. And, I'm having to accept that as my truth somewhere, and knowing that the right spaces, the right people will step forward and they will find this as their truth too. So this might not be your space moving forward. What I have to share might not be of your understanding, but you are helping seed a consciousness of a spacing a space in consciousness that is allowing for others to step forward and for that to be their truth, and allowing for us to have an avenue to walk towards the light too. I can understand and see now where we've just been pushing out this darkness, and the timelines that we've been closing down connected to the negative reptilians of order. These other what was called the darker legion of forces have been ramped up in those spaces. So now we are all pushing these timelines that we are working with together, letting go of this negative reptilian order and finding this balance between light and dark. But these beings exist, these demonic forces, these vampiric energies, these zombie-like beings, these ghostly-like essences. They exist because we've been conjuring them up in different spaces. I myself being one of those conjurers in other spaces of time. I've been a magical being in all manners of understanding, and I'm meeting these souls again, and I'm taking them in heart and into my life. And they are saying, I'm here to help you. We are here to help you. We are here to help you work through your karma and your understanding, and bring you into a space of balancing out the light and dark together, everyone. But apologies that it felt like a sneak attack there from Lucifer perhaps. And I'm trying to really be compassionate to those that perhaps have gone through ritualistic abuse connecting to Lucifer's name. And I promise you, it is not his energy that has been brought forward in that space. It is very much connected to this negative reptilian order and beings that are here in service to self. That is not Lucifer's inherent energy. I promise you, teams of light are very much here within this space. This is why I brought through all of those aspects in tandem, so that you can see they are all together. And I know that this might be a very foreign concept to those that can't necessarily sink into energies and feel it at this time. It might feel quite scary to be saying, I'm accepting in Lucifer's energy somewhere, but see him as your ally. See him as someone that is working for you and helping you through your darkness. And you don't have to accept Lucifer in, but you have to accept your own shadow. And he comes hand in hand within that full sum. His energy is not going to be for everyone. So please trust in your knowing and your understanding and your life path and where you are thus far. Luciferian energy has been part of my life for a very long time. And, I'm accepting that as my truth each step of the way, everyone. I'm balancing my light and my dark in those aspects. And, as much as I have a seat at the table in the light, I am part of this legion of darkness. That is my core essence, somewhere. And that has to be my truth. And I have to wield that space because I'm in such places of darkness. Lucifer had to come in to protect me in some spaces that I was in, because it wasn't safe for me to just be on my my own. He's been a divine protector for me in spaces of darkness, and teams of light have allowed that to happen because they knew that I had to sit in this vibration to hold this negative reptilian force. But now we are elevating out of the negative reptilian vibration, and we're bringing in this Luciferian energy, very much connected to the light, and just allowing for that to be a playground in karma, in shadow, in darkness and light, and allowing for our soul to step forward in truth and in totality. Totality means all, everything, the light and dark connected as one. We are 50-50 out here, people, and well, beings. And I know that that terrifies some, but we're going to have to accept it so that we can truly set ourselves free. And I promise you, my heart is so incredibly open the more that I've just been stepping towards and accepting my shadow, all of my taboo aspects, all of my messiness, all of my shame, all of my guilt, all of my trauma, and saying, you know, it is here for a reason and I chose it, and I'm owning it, and I'm taking that power back and bringing it into my heart, taking it into my womb space and embodying that as my truth, stepping forward. I feel the most powerful that I've ever felt, I think, in my whole entire existence. And this is only the beginning, everyone. And I want everyone to be feeling in that true innate power as well. So please go easy. Please reach out to us as Light Renegades, myself personally, if you feel like you want to be working with any of us. And know that this is going to be a step-by-step process. We're going to not try and run at this. We can't run at this. And come back to these channelings. I feel like there is so much that gets said. There's so much energetic resonance as well being brought through these. So please take the time to assess where you are and be truthful with where you find yourself. And if you are terribly afraid of your shadow, please step forward, because we are here to help you all go at your pace. You know, this is very much baby steps. This is very much, we're going to hold your hand through your shadow and to make this be a space of light for you. But we are going to have to start to admit to ourselves whom we are, the lifetimes that we perhaps led in the darkness, and those aspects of karma that we've been working through. You know, there is so much karmic debt that I've tallied up over the years, and some of that, you know, I had to come truly face to face with in this lifetime. And it was shocking to myself whom I discovered myself to be, you know, and I wasn't proud of whom I was at some point of myself in this journey, and I had to make those changes. I had to be honest with myself that I wasn't living in my highest and lightest vibration, and you know, that was my own doing. That was my own self-sabotage. And this is very much an understanding that Aleister Crowley brings forward as well. So please, you know, if you haven't stepped forward and started to engage in the Darkness series or the Aleister Crowley series, like maybe it's time to take a circle back around and see if you are ready to face it right now, everyone. But we are going to be in this darkness understanding and vibration of understanding for a while. So to those that, you know, may split off from here, thank you so much for being here. You know, I hold you in so much love, so much reverence, and thank you for witnessing me in this space and allowing for your light to be here to allow me to grow. But the truth is, you know, I'm here to wield the light and the darkness in complete totality, and that's the space that I find myself in right now, that as Light Renegades find ourselves in right now, and trying to express that truth to you so that we can all step forward in a different understanding and a deeper state of consciousness is of a higher vibration as a whole. We're bringing this darkness into a higher vibration of, you know, divine energy, and it's a beautiful thing. My mind is blown daily. My heart is ever bursting open, and yeah, I just feel incredibly powerful, and I want every soul to be feeling that. And especially, you know, having been through trauma myself, having been feeling like my power was taken away from me through so many different facets of understanding, I'm so incredibly grateful for where I find myself right now and the energy that I feel that I possess. So I want everyone to be in that space. That's where we're all trying to get to. And, you know, us Light Renegades have taken a run, step, a jump, you know, a few steps ahead so that we can pivot and turn around and help you and bring you into that vibration too. We are all in this together. I will keep saying this. I really want this to be a community space. Anna Maria and myself really want this to be a community space. And, you know, we're going to be bringing forward other aspects of teams of light. You know, I very much feel like there are other teams of understanding that are wanting to step forward. We were speaking to a lot of different galactic understandings, and they are wanting to step forward and help us too. But we're working through this darkness for some time. It might not be your space, but there will be other things for you to delve into. So keep watching this space, everyone. But I think that enough for today. Apologies, I'm really struggling with my coughing and everything else. So thank you for bearing with me as well, everyone. Hopefully I will be better able to speak next week. But that's all for today. Please do have a beautiful weekend, those that are in real time. And, you know, come back to this. Like, don't just take it all on and, you know, just go straight into thinking that you haven't done enough and you're processing, or, you know, start shaming yourself in that way, because that's not going to help either. Just be accepting of where you find yourself right now, and just say that I'm willing to accept in my shadow. Have that be a mantra. We do have the new moon today, which I think is incredible that we've been aligning with that energy. We have the new moon in Cancer, so it's all about this illusory energy, this moon energy, this divine feminine energy. So, you know, state some mantras tonight to self, state some manifestations and affirmations to self that I'm ready to access my deeper aspects of truth, my totality, my darkness, my light. I'm ready to accept my shadow. I'm ready to wield the power that is inherently my birthright. I'm ready to wield the power that is inherently my birthright. Last time together, I'm ready to wield my power that is inherently my birthright, everyone. But that's all for me today. Please do enjoy the beautiful dark moon energies. I very much feel in such alignment with this moon. There's been a lot of tears, a lot of purging, but I know it's for my highest purpose. So if you are incredibly, you know, in the mud, in the darkness at this time, I'm completely there with you. But it's for a purpose, and please do reach out. We can hold hands with each other together in that space, everyone. But that's all that I've got for you today. Have a beautiful weekend, and please do take care.